Good morning, it is time for another franchise showcasing on the GPD Win 3 handheld PC. Last time we went through Kingdom Hearts, and it is time to go into a series that has been a topic ever since the original GPD Win, the Fallout series. These games are great for these handhelds as many of them have played well ever since the beginning. The original Win could play 3 in New Vegas pretty okay. The Win Max could play Fallout 4 very smoothly, and now we'll hopefully be able to play the entire franchise, 76 included. To start things off, let's take a look at Fallout 1 and Fallout 2. These games were a given regarding performance, though it's not as high as I expected. I set both of them to the resolution of the Win 3, 1280 by 720, and they stayed around 35 to 40 FPS during gameplay and maps. Once again, not as high as I expected, but it's pretty good nonetheless. Moving on, we have Fallout 3 and New Vegas. While it's a huge hassle to get 3 running on Windows 10, both of these games have great performance. Both can be set to ultra high and will run at 60 frames per second without end. Next, we're going to get a little more technical. When diving into Fallout 4, I tested a few different things. I've got a slightly modded save on 4 with the Nora Companion mod and a couple others. By default, Fallout 4 set itself to low settings for me and it netted me a constant 58 to 60 frames per second both in the open world and firefights within enclosed areas. With it doing so well, I decided to test around with other settings to see what all I could accomplish. When set to medium, the game runs between 40 and 60 FPS, which is the same amount of performance that 4 got on the Win Max on low settings. You can even bump it up to high and you will still remain above 30 frames per second, though it fluctuates pretty frequently and has a lot of stuttering. If you care more about smoothness than graphical quality, low and medium are definitely the way to go. Finally, we get to the black sheep of the series, a game that I actually really like. The online multiplayer entry Fallout 76. I know this game was pretty rough at launch, but it's gotten a ton of new content and story, especially the past couple years, that's made it a bunch of fun for me to play on both PC and PS4. I even recreated my actual house that I live in IRL in the game, or at least as close to it as I could get. Now on the Win Max, I never managed to keep 76 above 30 FPS. Every session always dipped into the 20s everywhere, feeling similar to how the console versions play. Thankfully, it is significantly better on the Win 3. I did have to lower every setting down as far as it would go, but traversing through most of the open world and even nuke zones runs a high 40 to 50 FPS, only dipping down in the more model-heavy areas. With regards to enemies in those areas, the outside of the West Tech Research Center is a good example. It's my go-to area for loot and XP and occasionally drops into the 30s but never drops below. The only locations it really goes under 30 are the settlements with a bunch of NPCs like Foundation and Crater. Walking around with all of those other people there, I see occasional drops into the 27 to 28 range before popping right back up to 30 to 40. It may not be perfect, but it's a big improvement over the Win Max and much smoother than what you'd get on PS4 or Xbox One. Now, I know this video mostly focused on 4 and 76, but it's great to see the entire mainline Fallout franchise running smooth on this cute little handheld. I hope you're enjoying these franchise videos I'm making because I've got a couple more before we go into the really big tests. As always, thank you for watching and have a great day.